Hi there, Dave here with a video about calculating the square feet of a house. A strange house with only a living room and 2 bedrooms. And so I've actually done it a couple of different ways. So let's go ahead and bring up the project. Here's the first way I did it. I made input variables for the living room length and width, bedroom 1 length and width, and the bedroom 2 length and width. Then I made an output variable called answer, ANS. Then I declared all of those variable types. They're all integers. Then I asked for the user to input the living room length, then the width, then the bedroom 1 length and the width, and then the bedroom 2 length and width. And then I calculated everything all at once. So I said that the answer is equal to the bedroom length times the bedroom width plus, the living room length times the living room width plus the bedroom 1 length times its width plus the bedroom 2's length plus its width. And when we've done that, then go ahead and display the answer. So the answer is going to be ANS square feet. And so the code to do this is pretty straightforward. There's the living room length. We're declaring, right? We're declaring our variables by setting them to their initial value. So we're declaring ints by setting it to 0. If it was a float, it'd be 0.0. If it was a string, it would be 2 quotes right next to each other, a no-length string. And if it was a Boolean, it would be false, capital F. Okay, so we go ahead and we ask the user to enter all of the input as we stated. Down at the bottom here, we calculate the answer. And the only difference between this and the pseudocode is that the way that Python does things, we have to run it through an int function. And this int function, procedure, module, whatever we want to call it, will in fact take whatever's passed in and convert it to an integer so that it can be multiplied the next string, because we know that always we input string. The input function always brings in a string no matter what the value is. We have to convert it to whatever that is. And so then we display the output. Now, if we're going to make a module to do this, then the way that we did it was, well, we could simplify this a whole bunch by just having room length and width, and that's all. And then we have answer 0. And then what we're going to do is we're going to dynamically calculate our answer rather than calculating our answer all at once, and that allows us to put this into a module form. And so there's going to be a module, and the module is going to take the name in of the room, because we only have those 3 names, right? There's living room, bedroom 1, bedroom 2. It's only 3 names. So it's going to take in that name. Then it's going to ask the user to input the length. Then it's going to ask the user to input the width. Then it's going to return the length times the width. And that's what the module does. So the module, and that indicates, we are indicating that the module is returning an integer and that it is going to take in a string, and internally the name of that string will be my room name. And so there we go. Now, in order to execute the module, what we do is we come down here and we say answer is equal, I've declared answer up at the top. Doesn't really matter, it could have been down here. I think I did that here because we said, well, it's nice to declare all your variables up top. Yep, it is. Sometimes below, but maybe below all the definitions of the functions, the modules, the procedures, all the same word, right? So down below, we're going to set answer. First of all, we're going to set it to the first execution of the get room area where we pass in the living room. So it's going to take in living room, and it's going to say, okay, please enter the living room's length. Please enter the living room's width. And it's going to make answer equal to the result of multiplying this times this. The fact that room length and room width exist, these variables exist inside of get room area. No way does this code outside of that module know that. So in the next line, what we do is we take whatever this value is here, because it's pointing to that place in memory, and then we add to it the result of executing this get room area module again, passing in bedroom 1, and it's going to give us its length and width. And so we take whatever it was before and we add to that, and then we take that result, which is someplace else in memory because of the immutability thing, and then we have the answer label pointing to that new place. And then we do that one more time and we're all done. Well, except that we have to display answer, which is down here, which is the same in all the different versions. So let's look at the code. There's answer equals 0. We're setting the answer to, it's just line for line exactly what's up top in the code. You can see how I've done it. Once the pseudocode works and you can see it work in your head, you know that the code down below is going to work the same. That's the whole idea of pseudocode. So there, we're defining get room area. We're passing in whatever we pass in. That's going to be a label. It's going to be a reference to a place in memory. So we just get the address of the place in memory. And we're going to call that my room name. So our label to that place in memory from whatever was passed in, well, it's going to be living room the first time, right? So living room is the string that's created in this program, and then the address of that is actually what's passed into here and known as my room name inside of this function. Same address in memory. But it contains a string, so it's immutable. All right, so we have our internal variables inside of this function. We have room length, we have room width. We take in, then we ask for the length, we ask for the width, and we return the product of the length and the width. So this is just definition of a module that's going to be executed. It hasn't been executed yet. The only code that's been executed thus far is ANS equals 0. And then down here, the next piece of code that's to be executed says ANS is equal to get room area. So we're going to execute get room area passing in living room. So it's going to ask for the living room length and width. We're going to multiply it. We're going to come back and we're set answer to it. Then we're going to take whatever this answer was and add to it the result of executing get room area one more time, but this time passing in bedroom 1. And we're going to do the same thing for bedroom 2. And then we go ahead and we print our answer. And that works and does exactly the same thing as the no module one. And then the third one we got here is the bad one. It's bad in terms that I don't like it and most programmers don't, and we try to get away from these kinds of ideas of global variables. Global variables are ugly things for many reasons. Even the book says they're ugly, and then the book goes ahead and uses them anyway here and there. And I'm not going to do that. So you're going to see global variables. You need to understand what they are, and then you need to understand why they're ugly, and then not use them, basically. So what's ugly? Well, we're going to declare global integer answer. So this global integer, that's how the book declares it. So in the book, you'll see declaring a global integer like this. It assumes that in the calling program, in the big guy, that's where you define whether it's global or not. Not done. It's not really done that way. No, not done that way in Python, but the book shows you this way. We're not going to use global variables anyway, so you don't need to worry about them, right? You need to understand what they are, why, but then we're not going to use them in writing code. So, a global variable can be run like this. If this guy is global, then inside of getRoomArea, what we can do is we can just set answer, which is global, which means it can be gotten to from any place, from any routine inside of anything in the project. Anybody get to it, do anything they want to it, basically. Kind of like without controls. That you don't know about it. Anyway, that's one of the things that's bad about it. So anyway, we got this global guy here. And so what I can do inside of this guy is I can just add to him. That's what I do. I just add to answer. So I add to wherever it's pointing to. He's pointing to something. So I take that and I add to it the result of multiplying the inputted room length times the inputted width. I reset that answer reference to that guy, right? That's global. It's global up here. And then all I have to do is just call, that's how the book shows it, just call the module. So just execute the module and pass in living room. So that's the call thing. All right. And then down at the bottom there's the display. So let's take a look at how that all works out in the code in Python. So answer equals 0. Okay, there's our global variable. But that's not where it's made global. It's made global in all of these guys who want to reference it. So inside of this function that wants to reference that variable, we can describe ANS. Notice how they both turn pink, you see. So we can reference this ANS inside of here. No problem. Because we just said global ANS. Now what that says is look for some place else where that's defined outside of me. So actually I've defined ANS up at the top because I like to find variables at the top, but I don't want you to get the impression that ANS has to be defined here. It could be defined down here right before the first execution of getRoomArea. So basically this kind of statement says, oh, don't pay attention to this, we'll work it out later where it is. And so then I go ahead and there's my declaration of length and width, right? And then I go ahead and get my length and I get my width, and then I say that the answer is equal to the answer plus the so this is where we do it, right? So here we're referencing this global variable answer, which is defined outside of the module, but we can reference it because we've declared it to be global inside of the referencing module. All right, so there you go, globals, and hopefully that makes some sense out of this stuff. Take care.